adopt the amended agenda. Have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Timmy, and second?
I'll second that.
Bill? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to amend and accept the minutes of the meeting from 9/14/2020. Motion?
I'd like to make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Debbie? All in favor? Motion to authorize, budget transfer, if any, there is none. Make a motion for that. We don't have any. Sally, second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pay audit vendors and claims bills. A fund voucher from 9/1 to 9/34, $11,645.98. B fund vouchers, 9/1 to 9/7, total of $3,895.11. DB fund, 9/1 to 9/24, total of $29,149.61. Can I please have a motion to accept, to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the audit and vendors claims for the A fund, B fund, and DB fund.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
There was no direct correspondence. Public presentation, I would like to introduce you right now. Come on up. S&F. Okay, this is Joe Fry. He owns the company, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm actually the manager now, we merged with General Security,
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
so I'm the regional manager.
Well, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you.
John Rochelle, our highway superintendent, and myself, along with Assistant Chuck Dennis, went over to Volunteers Park because of the issues we've been having, and looked at camera situations, where to put them, where to place them, visibility, and so forth, because of the vandalism and what has been occurring at our park, unfortunately, that we all pay for. So you were great in representing your company and letting us know what is our options. I will say that.
Thank you.
It was very well entailed for us, for me especially, and John, to understand where and how we can cover the whole area. And it's not a cheap ordeal, but it's something that I think we have to look at and try to put it in, for our 2021 budget. I believe that we are going to try to do it in some DB fund way, so, through the highway. And John is adamant on getting it done, so, because what we paid and what we got destroyed doesn't cover the cost by the time we add it up, of all the vandalism and everything. So if you want to present your S&F, division, general security, I think you've seen them signs around like ADT and all these others, but I know Mr. Fry very well to say that I like the honesty and local.
Well, thank you, Patsy. Thank you, board. Thank you all. As Patsy was saying, I did have the opportunity to meet with Patsy and John and Chuck over to the town park about 2-3 weeks ago, and they were expressing their concerns excuse me, about the vandalism that was taking place in the park. I'm sure most, if not all of you, have used the park at some time or another, and you know how it's pretty well laid out, but there are a lot of areas, excuse me, for vandals to do their thing, and unfortunately, this particular park has not been excluded from that. Now, we have been very fortunate to help the village of Alatia. We do the cameras on Main Street, we take care of the park over by the firehouse, and the big difference between Main Street, the firehouse park, and the town park is pretty, I would say almost 2-3 times as large as
You're large.
what we have over to Callan Park, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, anyways, with that being said, what I have done is I put on all the desks out here. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it up for all of you folks out in the audience, but I have brought the proposal with 4 different options. I have, as per John, the information that you have in front of you, I put my worst foot forward, I guess, to be, not put my back to you folks, but just to address the board. I've put together a proposal that you'll see that has the 3 pan-tilt zoom cameras, high-powered pan-tilt zoom cameras that will take us pretty much anywhere in the park if the cameras are positioned. My thought is to have John and his team run the wire in the old coax building, in the old co-op building. We were gonna mount the cameras on the 2 sides of the, I forget what building it was past.
The, South Building.
Okay. On the south building so that, pardon me. But what we were thinking about doing is putting a pan-tilt zoom camera on both sides of the south building that would get us out to the pavilion and down to State Farm Road.
Right.
Very powerful, but again, getting the shots and the flexibility to move the cameras anywhere, because they are going to be pan-tilt zoom cameras. I also have another one that we're going to position with a wireless bridge on the concession building. And if you notice, I have put together, if I may,
Yeah, sure.
I've got a Google map of the park. And in that, I have positioned where I was thinking about putting the camera. So again, if Patsy or John or anyone really needed to access them from the town, they could reposition the lens, zoom in, zoom out, get whatever shot they need in the areas, and pretty much go from there.
You can do that remotely, correct?
You can. Now, the big kicker with this, Tim, is the fact that right now, over in the south building, there is no internet. So the town would certainly need to get internet too.
We're looking at, John has contacted some internet providers that we have been doing some shared services with. Verizon is one of them, and AT&T. And since we are sharing some services together, we're hoping that they'll share some of their services with the town, because we're helping them out within the town right now. And John thought it was a great idea. I don't know if he got in touch with a couple of them.
I haven't heard from John, so I'm just.
Yeah, he talked to me the other day, and he was saying that, he's been on it, you know, but he's waiting for one guy to call because he was
Sure.
around, you know, it's typical, you know, column A and column B guys.
Well, John was also gracious enough to tell me that he could actually get the wires in place on the south building.
Yeah.
What we, as a company, are gonna be doing is we're also gonna be setting up a wireless bridge between the concession booth, down between the girls softball field, and putting another pan-tilt zoom down there to almost take us down to State Farm Road, but certainly get us down past the dugout on the closest softball field, I believe it is. Pardon?
T1.
Yes. So that we can really get all the traffic coming in there, and if there was a problem area, say it was the soccer field or out in the back by the volleyball courts, we can certainly readjust those cameras.
We have we have a couple of, but they're not facing where we need them. We need them behind. We're having a lot of issues, and I've spoken with state police quite a bit, and we're working on it. And I told Mr. Fry that around the pavilion area was one of our biggest things,
Right.
because I think they know that they're being seen or something, but, you know, but that was one of our biggest vandalized areas besides the basketball court and other places.
Well,
And that's gonna be covered, which is nice. And the dog park will be covered too, just so you know.
well, the dog park, the way that that's situated,
She's with it, she likes the dog park, she's a member of it. so
okay.
a couple
Well,
people do.
it would certainly, we have the shot going down the road,
Right,
and the dog park veers off to the right with all the brush and everything, you'd certainly get the traffic.
I went to traffic, we were mostly
Right.
concerned about the cars going in and out of the park as it is, and able to take, video of their license plates so we can record.
Well, Patsy, that's right, I mean, license plate capture is its own separate entity.
Okay.
You will certainly have the opportunity to, but depending on the speed of the traffic, depending
Right.
on on the angle of the
I
shop.
spoke with state police and they informed me of all that,
Right.
on that, cause I just sent them some license plates recently and they were telling me all about how that works with cameras and so forth. You know, but if we can get, I think he said 2 letters out of the 5 is better than none sometimes.
Sure.
And color and ink, you know, that helps out. Every little bit will help us. I hope.
Well, yes.
Sorry, would we be able to access the cameras ourselves, if we can move them, or do we have to contact you?
Well, when the training is all done, that was a great question, but when the training is all done, it would be dependent on who legally should have.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not
Right.
something that, you know, you just turn it over to whomever. Excuse me. The training, the accessibility, you will certainly have that capability, but,
It's probably gonna be like a designated person or whatever, which
well,
makes
right
sense.
now, right
honestly.
now, I can tell you that the sheriff, actually down in the lower building here, the Main Street that we have coming up through here, I believe that's a village.
That's the mayor right there.
There she
Let me
is.
tell you.
It comes up the wire from Main Street to here, it goes over here downstairs to the sheriff department. You're gonna have it run to a computer, right?
Pardon?
You're gonna have a computer, backup on this for, to keep the video feed?
Yes,
Okay, and where's that computer gonna be located?
that's what he's stored over in, South Building.
Okay, is that South Building secure enough to do that?
Okay, that would be a question.
Tom, I didn't even hear you.
Is the building secure enough that you can store a computer and not have a problem getting broken into and stolen?
In here?
No.
Over at South Building.
South Building, partly. I think John is gonna work on that, actually.
We would have to do that, I mean, we've got thousands of dollars of
Oh,
equipment.
yeah, I know, that's what he was planning. Him and I talked about that, he plans to do that, and we were just waiting to see about the cables, our biggest thing. And he wants to run it from the highway garage, they're more remote type thing.
Well, you can certainly access it from the highway
Right.
garage,
Yeah.
but as far as the recording, that would be.
That has to be in the building,
that
I
would be
understand that.
stored locally.
I think we did that before, when we first got that building, first did that building, years ago, many years ago.
Well, it's very similar to what we have, it's the same
Yeah.
system as what we have downstairs here in the sheriff's department.
Right.
You looking for any cameras on the water towers?
No, not at this time.
Because wouldn't that be a better angle from water tower for the roads coming in out of there?
Well, the roads from where the South Building jets out, Mayor, that is a perfect shot from those, from that little jet out portion. And actually, if you look at I have on here, going back to, pardon me, Mayor,
Yep.
I have on the plan the South Building and where we were planning on putting the 2 cameras on the South Building. And then the dotted line represents the wireless bridge from the concession stand to the South Building as well. So the angle from the water tower, certainly, it's a beautiful spot, but we did not figure for that. Really, I can just hook up a wireless bridge from anywhere. Why do I have power?
We were looking at the barn.
We're gonna see the barn
Right.
from the South Building, which is, I put the distances in there. The farthest shot that we have from the South Building is obviously State Farm Road, which is 890 feet from the location where I was going to put that. The water tower, the barn itself is about 300 feet from that building. The other long distance shot would really be the grassy field or the drive up in the back behind the pavilion. Really not storage farm, yeah. Which is what John was saying, that one,
Yeah.
the overhead door on the side closest to the building was where the material was stored.
Right.
This is the camera you're looking at put down.
Mayor, this is the one that you folks have actually on the, Main Street. The one that we have in the park. We're taking it to the next level, because most handheld zoom cameras, the big ones that are really worth their weight, do not have infrared. The ones that I am proposing in our proposal, they're a 32 power handheld zoom, which will give us about 150 millimeters worth of zoom.
Yep.
Which I also have, just on the lighter color of the map, has the distances between the south building and all of the location, none of which are really out of range for a 10 power. But again, the 32 power, if John or Patsy or somebody had a real problem, you are not going to be calling me saying, I didn't get the shot. Because if you needed to zoom in on any of those areas, including the entrance at State Farm Road, the cameras that I have proposed here, although they're not crazy, but they are obviously higher than a 10 power camera would be. All of which will get you good shots, but it's all about convictability, folks. I mean, if you got a shot of Joe and Phil down at the south end, Phil's a lot more handsome than I mean, you pick that up.
Under this mask, we're all the same.
But it's all about really just being able to blow it up and possibly zoom in if you needed to.
And you would zoom in how?
You have remote capability.
You would have remote capability.
Yeah.
And is it possible to do it not with a DVR, and then it's, the whole cloud thing, or that you don't recommend that?
We can do that, and we do, but in this particular case, I'm gonna tell you.
Because that would negate like the tower, you couldn't have it on the tower, because then you couldn't have a DVR.
Well, now the bandwidth and the internet capability, it really relies on a lot more than just getting the recording back to a digital video or an NVR. Yes, Dan.
Joe, what is the price difference between the 10, 20, 50?
Pardon?
What is the price difference between the 10, 20, 50?
I have that on the proposal.
Patsy's got that, Sally.
Actually, she has one too. You all should have one. What Sally was asking was, I have the cost of the 32 power, I have the cost of the 10 power PTZ, and then I also included in there, Sally, you'll see, there's a cost for a 20 power bullet camera. Now,
Okay.
what a bullet camera, it's a fixed camera that, and I have one over there, it looks like a bullet. Basically, you put it up on a building, it points in this direction, you can say, okay, shots are coming over here. It's a lot more obvious, and the downside to it in comparison to the pan tilt zoom is that once I get the shot, Patsy says, oh, that's the shot I'm looking for, I lock it in, you don't have control, you're not moving it anywhere. But if you'll notice, and I put there as two separate options with, which were not included, I have the cost for the bullet, the 20 power bullet, which again, up and down the street would be wonderful. I'm sorry, to State Farm Road. Excuse me. But if you had a problem area and you wanted to focus on the soccer field, which again, what John was saying, or out in the back, beyond the pavilion, you would have to have John or one of his crew come down, physically move it,
Okay.
and then go from there.
Thank you, Joe.
So, what you have, like I said, is you have so many different options. Couple things that John had asked for initially was to have two pan tilt zoom cameras on the south building.
Yes.
And then it kind of evolved into, well, what about down at the concession? What about the girls soccer, the girls softball field? I said, John, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna put them in, and then you're gonna want them. You're gonna want them over by the golf course. You're gonna want them on the north building. The capability is here, folks. You have that with the recorder. Digital, I mean, I can do anything with a wireless bridge, and I can get you shots at the orchard if you needed to. As long as I have power and line of sight, it's all there. So, yes,
The recorder that you have in the south building, does that need heat in winter?
it does. It needs to be somewhat climate controlled, and that's a great question as well. Although heat is not necessarily the enemy, I'm sorry, no, cold, that's what we're talking about, winter. Heat is the enemy to compete, but depending on how cold it gets, I mean, it's got an operating temperature, so. yeah,
What are the temperatures that we
I mean,
You
Patsy,
have to-
if you're comfortable in there, it's comfortable.
Well, I'm comfortable in an icebox.
Well, so am I, but but I'm saying, you know, 30 to 80, 75, you don't want to get much hotter than that.
It doesn't really, in the room, I was thinking, where John and I were talking about, I don't think it has that CO fleet for this chair. Man, that's your money, and it's not bad. You know,
Only build a box where it's needed.
yeah.
Well, the other part about that, Tim, is we have control boxes like we
Yeah.
put up on the telephone pole that have their own heaters and their own cooling system.
You have that on yours?
Our computer, everything's downstairs, so.
No, heating or cooling system.
Don't need it, don't need it.
Oh, you don't need it.
Because, yes, because the recorder is in a controlled environment. But I'm saying, like, what we do in a lot of the farms, where we're putting them up in the storage bins or whatever, as long as I have power there, I put the stock in, it does add about $400 for the unit.
Mm,
But it's certainly capable of keeping things
right.
somewhat consistent and cool, using what it needs to be.
So is $400 included in the price?
It is not, Tim, no, that's, what we were thinking about when we were walking through there was, and we did not even go into the space. We didn't get into that part of the south building, but, you know, it looked, taking it for face value, it looked pretty good,
Yeah.
so. So you have the options, folks,
Yeah.
you know, and again, they can range anywhere from 17 on the high side, to just under 10 for, again, you've got the recorder, you've got all the capabilities, and then it's just what we decide to put on.
Cable is our biggest problem right now, we just have to see how we're gonna do that.
Uh-huh,
So, John even said that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
talk to you about
Sure.
that with me. So as soon as we can look at that and we can, you know, decide on that and see how we're paying for this and so forth, you know? But
Sure.
John's willing to have it come out of the DB fund, most of it, some of it. So,
I know you talked to Frank and,
yeah, yeah.
things with the
With
village.
the villages, yeah.
But however I can be of help, or that's obviously, you know, how to get hold of me.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you coming here, Monday night.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you all, thank you.
Anybody have any questions from the audience? I'll be glad to take one to ask, you want to ask them something.
How long does the video actually last? Like, you're not gonna keep it for 30 years.
No, well, when you say the video, how long does it last in the recorder?
Yeah.
The recorder has a 6 terabyte hard drive, and with the 3 handheld zoom cameras that we had on there, before it starts to write over itself, you've got, in this particular environment, what I've done is I've taken, we're gonna put all the cameras to motion activation, which means that as soon as something walks into view, it's gonna start recording. I have that based on a 40% record time during the day. So with a 6 terabyte hard drive, you are gonna get approximately 7 to 8 months worth of recording. So what happens then is,
Right,
you know, the first in, first out type of thing.
right.
So in 7 months, well, if you were looking for information 9 months ago, you're only gonna go back 7 months, and then it just depends on how the town is going to store it. You know, if they want to take some information, take a clip, put it to a hard drive, and store it away someplace, or, you know, for a quarter clearance or something like that, you have that capability.
Does the software have any fail-safe in it so that if the cameras go down or if the software has problems or and
No,
who's maintaining the server to restart it, to give it updates, to?
that is, again, great question. Just like a computer, if the power goes out and it needs to be addressed, what we recommend, just like we do with the village and other places, if there's an issue like that, you wanna just, you, being the town, needs to, keep an eye on it. Because if it goes out, it does need to be reset and restarted. If not,
And John was saying that because sometimes when we lose the power, they always have a crew that goes out and takes care of a lot of those issues around, you know, which is, you know, around the town, the village or wherever. So that's always a big thing. So he didn't find that to be an issue to reset at all, because they're out there anyhow usually with the no hour, or whatever, so.
Now, can you clarify what the south building actually is on the,
On-
Cars to the dog park.
the furthest from the left?
Yeah.
North of
Well,
Eagles.
just by the dog parks, that's just by the 9/11 Memorial.
Yes, yes, I did.
17,000 on the high side
Correct.
and 4 on the low?
No,
Okay,
no,
so just the high side?
just under 10.
Oh, it's 110, okay.
As far as security goes, what if you put an alarm system in there for the building, for that particular room or wherever you're gonna keep this, so that, you know.
Well, may I feel that? What I mean, we could, don't necessarily need to be paying for a monthly charge for an alarm system. How we can get around that is to simply put a camera on there, looking in the room, and we set that to notification. I mean, once it's into the internet, I can do anything I want to with it, which means that if somebody goes into the room, to do just what you're saying, possibly vandalize or do whatever, I can notify anybody and everybody in this room, and say, oh, what's going on, you know? I can open it up. I mean, obviously, things are gonna be very secure, so there won't be any, you know, the capability of getting into it, but, to put notification on there, where when the door opens up, now you got the view, hey, you know, what's Joe doing in here right now, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing. So, great question, but it would certainly be covered with we could do that with a very inexpensive camera, or something where you're not paying a monthly charge for, an actual active alarm system.
So if we pay the money upfront to put the whole system in, get it in place, is there like a yearly charge to keep like our contract with SNS?
Well, we can charge it, but it's not necessary. No, you don't, we have maintenance programs if you wish. One nice part about the equipment that we're proposing is that with any pan-tilt zoom camera, the big issue is movement, and it has a certain amount of movement before failure. The active cameras that we're proposing for this are, you know, the numbers, the general numbers may be at 100,000, you know, movement, where these are much higher than that. The warranty on the cameras, the pan-tilt zoom, normally for a year to 2 years. Access is giving us 3 years on it. With a 5-year option, if we wanted to buy like $100 camera, which again, I got in there. The 2 extra years, we're talking 5-year warranty on a pan-tilt zoom camera, which is really extraordinary.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. That's good choice.
So, yes, sir.
Question I get is more physical. How durable is this unit? I mean, can it withstand rocks, stones?
Well, rocks and stones are not a problem.
Earthquakes, I don't know.
Well, just sort of somebody putting a round through it, I mean, they have been pretty darn durable. We had one down in the city of Hudson that, did take a pretty significant shock. Not a shock per se, but, you know, somebody really connected with it and, you know, still there.
See, my thought is, this is gonna be a much more remote site than down on Main Street. So
Well,
I think that you could wind up being an attractive nuisance.
It's really where you put them, sir, and where we are planning on putting them. It's not gonna be at ground level, it's gonna be elevated quite a bit on the corners, and, if you go to the firehouse, for example, the Malaysia Firehouse, I think that's probably about as low as I care to put it. These right here are gonna be, they're gonna be, yeah, quite a bit higher.
They're gonna be very hard.
Um,
That was one of my issues, and I know what you're saying, it's stupid to put a camera up, and then have that vandalized also, so we made sure where it was put in place, that we thought about it, that we're making sure that it's not easable access, per se. You have to bring like one of those ladders that keep going up and up and up.
Well,
You have to get the police fire truck, ladder truck to do it.
but that being said, that is, you know, again, if you take, let me just show you. Now, I don't even have to open it up, but again, this is the bullet camera. Bullet camera looks like, you know, looks like a bullet. You put that up on a building, put it in the corner, you know, people that wanna do no good, oh, you know, they get some things pretty quickly. The Panfield zoom camera is a dome, a pimple gonna be sitting off the corner of the building. You can't really see what it's looking at, and I will tell you, just the thought of having something up there, whether, and I'm not here to talk myself out of a job, but I'm just telling, whether it's powered or not, Patsy, I think we talked about putting dummy cameras up. But dummy cameras obviously don't record when the, in the event that there is actually a problem. So, Panfield Zoom, they just, because they have the dome camera look, it's very difficult for people to figure out, what's it looking at? And it just kind of keeps those people.
People guessing.
Yeah, it keeps them guessing and, has them moving on to the next area, I guess, that they, it's like an alarm sign or surveillance sign, which we will be providing to the park. As you choose to do. So, just letting people know that, hey, the area is under surveillance. And, from what I've heard, just taking Callan Park, for example, before the cameras, I guess I would lay that one back to you, the park has been, it had its share of issues, and, the camera system that we have over there right now is certainly helping out quite a bit.
We haven't had any issues since then. One person arrested that took care of it.
All it takes, but it's something that we have to look at.